Hey, I'm Kristen Sides, and I just wanted to share a little bit about my story. I've been with the Dream Center since we started it back in 2009, 2010, and I've gotten to be on staff for most of that time, and it's been just a whirlwind, an amazing thing to watch what God's done through the Dream Center in the last 9 and 10 years. About 4 or 5 years ago, though, I found myself in the middle of the Dream Center, in the middle of everything that was going on with our staff and just watching things develop. And I found myself feeling just really lost. I felt like I had lost my personal vision of why I was here and what my purpose here at the Dream Center was. And while there was all these amazing things going on around me, I just didn't know what my part in it was. And it just became a really dry season for me. It became very hard for me to keep moving forward and keep being motivated in the day and keep believing in the things that we were doing, just because I had lost my personal vision in it. But in that, I just started seeking the Lord and asking Him for a fresh vision or mission. It was just about stop what you're doing, look around, and just get busy serving people. And so that's really what I did, and I really found myself serving under the vision of the Dream Center as a whole, which was just to serve people. And through that obedience, God opened up an opportunity for us to start serving in a new neighborhood in North Little Rock. And we started doing that through our Food for Good program initially, and doors just started opening in this community, and we started building relationships and seeing more and more kids and more families getting involved. And through that, as the summer kind of closed with Food for Good, I just personally felt compelled to stay involved in this neighborhood. I didn't feel like we could leave them just at the end of the summer. And so I didn't really have a lot of time in my schedule. I was really busy still with work, but I just really felt compelled to start doing Adopt-A-Block here in this neighborhood on Saturdays. And I remember the first time that I went out to do that, and it was just me and 2 of my friends. And we were in this neighborhood that we had been serving in during the summer. That was a rough neighborhood. It was the neighborhood that people pass by on the interstate and they say, that's the place you don't want to go, don't go over there. But I just really felt connected to this neighborhood. So we went out on a Saturday. I think we saw about 7 kids that day. We just walked around in the neighborhood, looked for any kid that we could find, any family that we could find, talked to them, and just shared our heart. Like, we're here from the Dream Center, here to serve, here to build relationship, and just do whatever we can to love on this community. And from that Saturday came the next Saturday, and we showed up again, and this time we brought some hot food, and we had some sidewalk chalk and bubbles to start playing with the kids. And just week after week, as I started just doing this faithfully, showing up on Saturdays, I just got more and more connected. I started getting excited. I started having visions and dreams of what could happen in this neighborhood if we got really involved, if we got really invested. And over the next few months through the fall, I started having friends that came along with me. We started building a team. We had 5, 10, 15 people that would show up, and we had no longer just 5 or 7 kids. We had 15, 20, 30 kids showing up. And then as the winter came, it was raining, it was cold, and we were out in the middle of this neighborhood with no shelter, with no coverings. But we would still show up because we knew we had built relationships with these families, and they were counting on us to be there, to bring hot lunch, to bring the love of Christ. And so we would show up no matter what the weather looked like. And still, these kids would come out when it was pouring rain, when it was freezing cold, in their shorts and flip-flops. Sometimes they would still come out just to hang out with us. And that really just opened my eyes to the power of relationships and the power of consistency in being in a neighborhood. And so through that season, I started looking around the neighborhood thinking we really need to find a place where we can meet together, where we can continue Adopt-A-Block in this neighborhood where it's warmer and where we're not having to deal with the weather. And so I started just kind of looking around the neighborhood. I looked for abandoned buildings, and there was this building across the street from this neighborhood. It was this big white building. All the kids called it the big white building. And I remember asking the kids one day, hey, what goes on over there? And they told me there's not really anything going on. They used to have an after-school program. They used to come over and do homework or get a snack, but there's nothing going on. And I remember one Saturday there were these 2 boys from the neighborhood, and they became my realtors. And so they told me that they would walk over here with me, and we started looking in the windows of this big white building, and they would point out things like, this is the room where we would do crafts, or this is the room where we played video games or got a snack. And I walked all the way around this building, and as I looked in the windows and I looked down the hallways, I just started to see a vision of what this building could be. And it was an old elementary school one of the things that drew my eye to it was that the hallways were this bright green color. And when I looked down that hallway, it just like looked like life to me. It looked like a fun place to be. And I just started imagining kids running up and down that hall, and just having a place where these families could come together, where we could meet together. And God just started giving me a vision, and I just felt myself like starting to come alive again in my purpose and in my passion. And so from that day, I went back to our director, Drew, and I just shared with him what I saw and what I started feeling. And I knew it was a long shot. This is a huge building, and we weren't looking to expand anywhere. And so I just shared my heart with him, and we actually looked up to find out what was going on with the property, and we found out that it was for sale.